Week 2 of the NFL, and more importantly, the Verrado Community Group fantasy football season, it's officially in the books. Rule number 1 of football: reality team is always more important than the fantasy team. For instance, I'm sure the regulator would rather his Cowboys win a Super Bowl than for him to win a fantasy football title. But hey, I guess it depends on the price though, right, regulator? Well, let me take a second to just say this and make it clear. If the Cardinals keep this up, I'll be recording this video wearing a paper bag over my head. But hey, enough about me. Let's go ahead and get to the games. So this week, we're going to start with the game of the week. With 1-0, Mariota had a little lamb taking on 1-0, Got Beats. Well, this one looked worse than the Cardinals and Rams game. Got Beats' team absolutely went off. He started Mahomes, who carved up the Steeler defense, the Great White Hope, Christian McCaffrey, who had 14 catches, and Brandon Cooks, who cooked the Cardinals all freaking afternoon. I'll just put it this way. Beats, he would have beaten Lamb if he only would have played Mahomes and Cooks. So week 2 is rough for Mariota had a little lamb. Mainly because Mariota still had a little injury and didn't play. Yet she still had him in the starting lineup. We have our first victim of, I don't really care about this, and it's only week 2. Come on, Lamb, we got to do better. Without Saquon Barkley and Odell Beckham playing on Sunday night, you would have scored 26.6 points. Ouch. Got Beats moves to 2-0 by scoring the most points of the year, absolutely dominating Lamb, 167.6 to 60.5. Yikes. The second game of the week is the second domestic cup of the year. If we can remember back to last week, remember Mean Joe Neens? She dominated the regulator to establish dominance in the Ramirez house. This week, we drove down the road in Goodyear, Arizona to see who rules the Peters' house as 0-1 Sun Chicks takes on 0-1 Team Cardiac Cards. And Cardiac Cards flexed his muscle. Juju Smith-Schuster was his top scorer, and he got a nice 43 points from his Chiefs duo in Tyreek Hill and Kareem Hunt. Even with negative 2 points from his defense, Cards put up the second highest point total of the season. If only the regular Cards could pull that off, I'd be impressed. Sun Chicks, she didn't get much out of her running back spot with Devontae Freeman out with a right knee bruise, and ultimately she couldn't get a miracle performance from Chris Carson, as unfortunately Seattle moves to 2-0. But unfortunately, so does the Sun Chicks as she loses to Cardiac 152.9 to 106.8. So we're now going to move to the highest scorer of week 1, Mean Joe Neens, as she took on fantasy newcomer Drake It Till You Make It, who has contemplated a name change to As Luck Would Have It, because as luck would have it, Drake's kicker, Legatron, Greg Zuerlein, got hurt in warm-ups. Yeah, a kicker got hurt in warm-ups. Then her first 2 picks were David Johnson and Larry Fitz, who play on the most anemic offense in NFL history. Luckily, Drizzy Drake had a better week 2, putting up 17 points, and Travis Kelce, whom Drake planned on cutting last week, scored 2 touchdowns, put up 29.9 points, prompting a text from Drake expressing regret at her overreactive treatment of her tight end in week 1. But hey, unfortunately for Drake, she ran into an early season juggernaut in Neens. Stephon Diggs led the way with almost 36 points as the Packers and Vikings played to the second tie of the season. A tie. It's like kissing your sister, or in the Vikings case, it's like kissing your cousins. In reality, Neens put up a nice performance even though Alvin Kamara and Julio Jones had average weeks. Jordan Howard scored a ton of points as the Bears beat the Clowns from Seattle, and Mean Joe Neens moves to 2-0 by beating Drake 127.1 to 97.4. Next game. Fresh off of his week 1 bad luck performance, the regulator was settling in to show everyone that he's the fantasy expert. On the opposite side of the spectrum was Blessum, who is 1-0 in her fantasy career. Unfortunately for Blessum, there wasn't much blessing going on, and her team is starting to look like the lobby of an emergency room rather than a football team. Joe Mixon, not good. He's out getting particles taken out of his knee. That's not good for a running back. And once again, Blessum made the wrong decision at quarterback. It turns out Alex Smith came back down to earth, not getting to play the Cardinals in week 2. I'm sorry if your advisor gave you bad advice, Blessum. For Regulator, this game was pretty much out of reach when we all went to bed on Thursday night. Since half of his team plays on either the Ravens or Bengals, he started out with 46 points, getting 30 of those from A.J. Green, who turned in a 3-touchdown performance. Shockingly, Todd Gurley had a good performance against my Bird Gang and added 32 more points to Regulator's score, getting him off the schneid, moving him to 1-1, and taking down Blessum 132.3 to 114.8. Congrats, Regulator. So, quick story. Throughout my youth, For Whom the Bell Tolls had this massive mustache, as you can see. Yes, before being hipster was cool, my dad rocked a stash that would make the Pringles man jealous. He also had a habit of never letting me win one-on-one basketball in our driveway, no matter how small I was. Every shot I took would get blocked. Then I turned like 13. Okay, some details of this story might be a little bit exaggerated. So I turned 13. I bet my dad that if I ever beat him in one-on-one, he'd cut off the stash. Notice he no longer has one. Well, it was much of the same this week for Tolls, who had to play the juggernaut more than a Thielen. And it didn't go so well. Le'Veon Bell continues to be selfish, robbing Tolls of his first-round pick. But James Conner played well in his place, despite having the most awful haircut I have ever seen in my entire life. And I know, I'm not one to talk crap about other people's hairstyles, but what in the world is this dude doing? More Than a Thielen said last week that Michael Thomas, I'm talking in the third person, I said that Michael Thomas probably wouldn't score 30 points again. Well, I was wrong. He did it again this week. You never know if old Jason Garrett actually figures out how to center his offense around his best player. More Than a Thielen might actually get something out of old Zeke Elliott and continue to go undefeated. Despite getting -2 points from the Ravens defense, Thielen beats up on Tolls 142.8 to 115.2. 2 weeks are in the books. 10 more to go before the playoffs. Mariota had a little lamb. Feel free to set your lineup this week. Pro tip, Carson Wentz is back. Put him as your quarterback. Week 3 game of the week, we'll put a couple of fantasy newcomers against each other. As Blessum, we'll look to keep Drake It Till You Make It winless on the season. I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow at our community group.